Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. Boom. And we're live. We are live, man.
All right.
So I'm going to tell everybody this right now. The last time we did an episode got a little chaotic. I did not, for some reason. I did everything else that I needed to do, but the power wasn't plugged in. So way to go me. Way to go me. We're championing it this time. We're plugged in. We're going to stay live. We're going to not have to jump to other things. But if you guys hear a little bit of an echo, is what it is, man. But we are joined by none other than, Liam.
Hey.
State champ. Four-time state champs team, right?
Yeah.
So we got him on finally. It's been a while since he's been on. And then we are joined by our special guest, Pan Am champion, Nick Suriano.
See, that sounds a lot cooler.
Thank you, Brad.
You bet, man. You
For
bet.
having me back.
Hey, so we wanted to get back on. You and I kind of touched base a little bit about what we might want to do. And we decided we wanted to talk a little bit about nutrition because, number one, the man that's dealing with that nutrition is kind of what brought us together, right? The whole Vision Quest, everything.
Mr.
Man himself. That's right.
Yeah.
Frank, that's right. He's helped Liam as well. So that's kind of the mix that we got going on with that. And then plus now seeing you out there a little bit, you're training, man. You look like core training. I mean, everything. You're doing everything.
Well, yeah, I'm in Tempe, Arizona. I'm in a hotel right now, just getting ready to focus on winning the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
So you wrestled at the Pan Ams. I got to see a match or two. I mean, you made some pretty good work. I think Joey Silva was the close match you had, but the rest of the guys, just like you were just doing clockwork, baby. You were tuned in. So let's talk about how, I know Liam had a couple questions when it came to just the competition piece. So I'll let him answer here.
So I noticed there was one match where it was close. Was it Joey Silva? Where it was 2-3?
Yeah, it was 3-2. Yeah.
Or 3-2. And then the next match, you just steamrolled the guy. So what was? Do you think it was like a mentality thing that made that one match close, and then that second match not so close? Was it, what happened where the scores were so different in those matches?
I think there definitely was a mental and energetic shift in my physiology. I was definitely a bit anxious in the morning to compete. I was excited for that opportunity, honestly. Being overseas is always a challenge, and competition is something that you can never take for granted. So I hadn't competed in a long time. It was since last April at the US Open. So first match, Acapulco, was extremely excited to wrestle, but I don't know. Definitely a tough opponent. Definitely felt bigger. And wrestling at 61 versus 57 is
different.
Challenging.
Yeah.
So, but I think, the key to any wrestling tournament is no matter what happens in a match, or in the first period or in the first exchange, it's kind of how you continue to wrestle and enjoy the process.
Yeah. And then because obviously you prep for each tournament, is your prep lift and wrestling, or is it just wrestling? Or do you do lift and wrestling, and then closer towards the tournament, you just do wrestling now?
That's a great question. It's majority wrestling. I do base rate, heart rate monitored cardio. About 4 times a week, which is a steady jog. And that's something I do. I usually do something called sprint 8, maybe once a week, which is 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Minute and a half, breathe. And then I do something called, with Move as a Human and Andrew Hamill here in Phoenix. I've been working on my biomechanics. Keeps me strong and structurally aligned.
Yeah.
Nice. We're definitely going to be touching on that, because we also know, you got to fuel, right? You got to fuel that body. So
that we know,
yeah, for sure. We know obviously that you have a close relationship with Frank. Frank Jasper, if everybody is unaware, is I believe is a master's degree in Chinese nutrition, and the knowledge that this guy has it's not just basic. It's pretty intense in the things that he knows. So what we've been talking about, especially with Liam, is kind of making sure that you're fueling yourself during the season, because you can lead astray candy bars, ice cream, things like that, especially as kids. The relationship that you've built with Frank over the years now, I can't remember. I think it was just before Michigan. Was it before Michigan? Just before Michigan that you met up?
Way before it. It was way before? Be specific, perhaps, I don't know, 2019, after I won the title.
For sure. So where were you at when it came to nutrition? What was your frame of mind when you reached out to him? What made you get to the nutrition factor first?
Well, I had several injuries which have happened to athletes, but for me it was the sickness and the addictions and things that were disrupting my physiology that weren't healthy and normal. I had several infections in my knee and things that I was trying to find out answers to, and luckily I was introduced to Frank at his clinic at Osani in LA, and it changed my life. We've been in touch ever since, and some of the information to this day I not question. I'm like, wow, how can this be right? This is so right that great things are happening. And I grew up in a household where we were eating complex carbohydrates and sugars and processed foods. And it just took time to evolve to the understanding that isn't the way that humans are designed to function and operate in terms of peak performance in sport, to be a champion wrestler, and in life, and for life extension and health. So it converted to fat for fuel. First thing being a fat adapted athlete, which had taken me several years. And I still think it's a process in our evolution, day to day. Truly be a fat adapted human being, and what that means in terms of intermittent fasting and how you start your day, what you're eating, when you're eating, and there are so many modalities to keep us going.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because even seeing you at Michigan, when I watched you wrestle at the NCAAs and even throughout the season, your physique changed. Like it was noticeable. You were, a lack of a better term, veiny. The fat looked like it was, you weren't the Rutgers Nick, let's put it that way. You were toned, you were in shape, and I was like, man, this kid went through a transformation. It was refreshing to see.
Yeah, and Frank, being a mentor, a guide, somebody on a level way above me, I was lucky to have him a part of that process, which was so personal at the time for me as a young man, finishing his college career at Michigan. And it was, a 3-month season. March is March, here we are now.
Yep.
And are coming up, so I can kind of remember very vividly the processes that I was doing and the nutrition plan that kept me going to make the weight 3 days in a row and win the nationals on my mom's birthday, which is Frank Schutz. Extraordinarily enough, but it just was really a process close to professionalism, I'd say, and I couldn't do it without his mentorship. So I'd love to discuss some of the things that got me to being that champion on that day.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about that. But there wasn't a lot of, until you were there, no one really knew what was going on. No one, and it's really nobody's business. We all know that, right? It's not like people should be reaching out and be like, what do you got going on? Or Willie's trying to figure out what's going on. It was your hunt. It was your quest, right? So with that quest at Michigan, what did that mean to you? Like just the start of it. Like you were at Rutgers, you had a stellar, I would say, season, obviously. So then you go to Michigan. What happened? What was that quest like?
I chose Michigan. I felt there was an intrinsic motivation way beyond myself to not only win on my mom's birthday, no matter who the opponents were, but to perform at my best. And the team race was something that really interested me. And that's something I don't want to talk about, but we did do what was needed to be done at Big Tens in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And NCAAs, Penn State came out on top, but for me at least, it was just a very personal, loving time in my life where, again, I was in a relationship at the time, and it just came down to very specific, serious, moment to moment, very truthful. It was a very challenging experience.
Yeah. So we hear wrestlers talk a lot about relationships, as far as we'll say, like a girlfriend or whatever. Did you find that it affected you or impacted you in the wrong way, having a relationship during a season? Do you think it elevated you?
Absolutely not. It just it gave me something to love closer to the ultimate goal of what God wants me to become.
Just that extra piece.
And that brings me back to LA, meeting Frank and Osani Holistic there in Pacific Palisades. My favorite place on earth. Although I've had great, lovely time and experience in training here with Sunkissed Kids in Tempe, Arizona. But it's just been a journey, and I'm still unlocking and discovering the whys and the who's and the what's. But it seems like right now I'm with the right people. The environment I'm in is inspiring. I'm nutritionally supported, and my body is thriving.
So how many times in a regular season would you say you're switching meal plans? Like, are you switching for every event that you have, or is it just whatever Frank throws at you?
No, it's a way of life, and it's the guidance that I've received and the trust that I have for that guidance, knowing that the information is way more than I could understand, coming from the understanding where I come from and what I was taught to be right and what college sports is telling athletes to be right. Which isn't, but just something simple like ketone IQ throughout the day is something that keeps me honest, I'd say. I like to start the morning with a fat adapted coffee, MCT oil, goat butter preferably would be great.
Yep. I know you got that coffee with you. You wanna show that off a little bit? Show the
it's
shout
got
them out.
It's got a Sedona water label, which is great. I went on an awesome hike and journey there with a mentor of mine, but it's really just a bulletproof coffee with some MCT oil.
Nice.
I usually don't have to in a day. I usually just start the morning, train, and break fast at around, 12:30, 1 o'clock ish. Sometimes 2 on a really good day.
Yeah.
And I prefer to have protein.
Okay.
It could be eggs. It could be some steak or a mixture of both. It could be salmon. It could be protein and fat. And veggies are great, and try to keep it to 2 meals in a day.
Okay.
Are you fully organic?
I think so. I'm still clearing out a lot of bad tendencies, habits. So
Sure.
Yes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a guy going out and slamming down a slice of pizza once in a month.
Mikey
right?
Musumeci. You know, like 5-time jiu-jitsu world champion, and all he eats in a day is pizza.
That's cool. I've done that before too, but that got me really sick.
Yeah. So how does that affect you when you started doing the diets with Frank 2019? How did that affect you mentally? Were you constantly battling it, or was it just you just kept going? It didn't really affect you, like trying to break those habits.
No, I think it's a process of understanding in terms of our evolution and what our body truly needs. But for instance, like with Frank, I told yesterday it was great training here in Arizona, and it was challenging. My body was going through a purging process, and just there was some things that I'm like, man, this is challenging. It's a challenging experience. And he was like, hey, have some berries, berries tonight. And I was like, wow, okay, I look forward to that. And I did. I felt great. So I'm always open to listening and learning. But pretty specifically, I think the fat adaptation lifestyle it's kept me cognitively, spiritually clear.
Yeah. Yes. So with the nutrition, then, as you go, kind of like Liam asked, if you don't change much, you're trying to create a clear path of what you do day to day to make it so it's a routine. And as you get into that routine, do you find yourself having to mix, a little bit, because you said twice a day, so it's kind of, to me, I don't know if I could thrive in that. So do you find yourself in the middle of the day struggling with anything?
Not every day. It's not a regimented only one way or another. It's preferably if I can get 2 meals and have a snack in between. Macadamias or walnuts sprouted preferably. Have tons of vegetables cooked. Depends what kinds, but for carb, I mean, I'm having carbs. Carbohydrates aren't the issue. It's the fat adaptation reality that has expanded my my mind, body, and spirit.
Okay. So do you obviously you want challenges, you want to be uncomfortable, but do you ever feel like you would rather be more comfortable in the situation that you're in than uncomfortable? Like those days where you just feel like you're hungry, like do you ever feel like you would rather be comfortable than uncomfortable, or are you just always looking to be as uncomfortable as possible?
I prefer I prefer what's sustainable, what's organic, like Brad mentioned, and what's true. And I just think there are certain sugars and certain ingredients in certain foods, and starches included, I'd say, that can alter the brain state and how I feel and function. And again, from my upbringing, how things were. It's just, you know, that's just how things were. But what are things, and what can things be, and what is the bigger picture, and what, you know, and what am I striving for, and how do I accomplish
What's the end
that?
goal? Yeah.
Okay. So when you're traveling, you know, when you travel to, is that a challenge? You know, because like Liam's about to leave for Estonia, and things change a little bit, right? So do you find yourself challenged a little more when it comes, because again, the food is the fuel, right? You can fuel yourself mentally, but do you find yourself challenged trying to keep that balance for yourself, especially when you're going to competition?
Oh yeah, you know, in Acapulco it's an interesting experience because, well, I couldn't drink the water. You'd probably get sick, so we were informed about not drinking their water and not eating certain vegetables and things along those lines, because who knows what could happen. But those are things that happen when you travel overseas, you know.
Yeah.
It's a different way of life, different. It's just things are different, and that's okay, but you have to be prepared for it. So some of my food got taken at the airport, but that's whatever, and I made do. And that's why I think the fat adapted lifestyle is sufficient, because we're not relying on sugar and carbs and things like that to keep us going superficially. It's more of a deeper process to empowerment.
Okay. All right. So as we kind of dig through the nutrition portion, I know that there's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of fuel to it, but you know, now, like I said, you're out there a little more and you're putting some stuff out, and we see you're working out a little differently. It seems like your workouts are a little more intrinsic. They're really focused to what your body needs, but
Right.
how did you know what you needed? How did you know when you got to that this is like, yes, this is what I need? You know yourself, right? So what put you to the places that you're at?
The guidance from above, the people above me that have the answers. Because some of those answers I don't have, and I'm on the process of discovering those answers. And to Acapulco, winning a Pan American Championship gold for Team USA.
Yeah.
Things along those lines. You know, Frank Jasper's mentorship keep me going. They keep me getting closer to not the things that I want, but that, you know, the universe can provide if we have faith and trust the process.
So when you get those, like when you get put through those exercises that you've been posting on your Instagram, does Frank look at those too before you do them to make sure it fits with everything? Like, is everyone that you work with in on those, or
I don't know which workout you're referring to. I don't.
You were it was the one where you were using the bar and you were twisting and you're moving everywhere with it. Yeah, you're kind of. I don't really know how to explain it.
Gymnaza at Gymnaza.
Yeah.
That was with CJ, great movement and strength based trainer. Just a new flair. That's in San Luis Obispo, California.
Okay.
I love the Central Coast. But I think mobility and strength tie together.
Yeah.
How do you define power? So there's a lot of levels to life, being a human being and being a champion in wrestling. And that's kind of why, you know, training in the Central Coast was great, but I kind of felt the need to reconnect with my coach, Mark Perry, out here at Sunkissed Kids, and
of course
work on some technical aspects in certain technical positions so that we can beat the competition around the globe. And there's a job to accomplish, like I said before. And but no, I don't usually. I'm sure Frank has seen them, and I think he supports them. But Gymnazo's been great. Andrew Hamill here has been amazing. Victor from Move as a Human's been great, and everybody's. I mean, there's a lot of support. Base rate cardios and the weight and things like that. Everything is kind of merging together, but we have work to do. We have work to do. Of
course, yeah.
So there's always going to be work to do no matter what. And we all know that. And the work that you put in right now just seems a little different than what most guys do. And to me, different's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. There's the different that pushes someone, but then there's also a different that motivates. Are you finding yourself a little more motivated now? I mean, obviously you won Pan Ams, but like now with just the workouts you're finding, do you find yourself a little more motivated each time that you're working and find these new dynamics that help build
Absolutely. You know, when I see what the competition's doing, I try to pay no mind to it because I trust the mentorship that I have and the people around me now.
Yeah.
Which is an ultimate motivation for me. And because it comes from here. And that's what matters. The clutter out there is weak. And I think when you're close to your unit and your coaches and your people, your tribe, you're strong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you find that, Liam? Do you find that, especially with your team and the coaches that you have around you?
Yeah, I think you feed off of the energy that they give you. So if you're with people who want to work hard, who want to win just as much as you do, you're gonna elevate to that level if you're not already there.
Right, and the seeing of that and believing in that is key. And I think that I've been in environments where it's you got to it can get very personal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, our coach
personal. I want it to be inspiring, uplifting, and motivating.
Yeah, our coach mainly said a lot. Trust the process. That was his big thing, with a bunch of other things, but that was one of his biggest key sayings was trust the process. It's gonna work, and obviously it ended up getting the job done.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say trust the process because at your age, a process is given to you.
Yeah.
Whereas Nick, you're creating, so there is a process that maybe your team goes through, right? Mm-hmm. But you're creating your own process. And like you said, you're getting notifications, we'll say, from wherever it is that are telling you and driving you there. Do you find sometimes that you question the process? Like, is this right? Do I need to go this way? It's not even like a scared questioning yourself. It's just kind of like, is this the best? Maybe I'll try this. Is that kind of the open process you have?
That's a great question because there are always, I don't know if it's doubts. It's no doubts. It's more questioning and trusting the process, like Liam said, and that's what's important. And nothing can get in the way of that when you do so.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So now with Pan Am's under your belt, you obviously you qualified for the Olympic trials, right? So there's probably a lot of questions. Do you know what weight you want to go? Like, because that's part of the process here is get it down to that again. You wrestle big. What are your thoughts? I mean, whether you decide to do one weight or the other, we're going to be rooting for you either way.
125.6 pounds is the weight class.
All right.
Okay. Has been since Detroit and before that.
Yeah.
Since Nice, France, Paris International Airport over, at Nice, there's an international tournament and the weight's 57 kgs, although I think it was 130 that day.
So then how do you, was it just you were trying out being 61 kgs? You just wanted to try to just wrestle a little bit bigger? Or what was, if the goal was always 57, why 61 kgs at Pan Am then?
That's a great point. Throughout the summer, I was trying to heal and recover my body in a healthy way. Mm-hmm. And there were contemplations, but it was always 57 kgs.
Okay.
In terms of Pan Am's for Team USA, it was kind of an opportunity that was given to me.
Okay. Yeah.
And I said absolutely. And
I
definitely seemed to be, in that first round, I felt I was a little bit smaller than the opponent. But that's a part of the competition. That's a part of the training and the preparation and the job.
Yeah. So speaking of that match, do you think it was all, physical and then mental, or do you think it was also because of maybe some technique was slipping up because you were excited to wrestle, that you were going really fast on some of it, a little sloppy, or do you think it was all just, physically he was bigger and mentally?
I don't know. There's a lot that goes on in an arena overseas and things happen. I think trusting your coaches is key. Honest coaching is key. I seem to be supported in the process, but in terms of my wrestling, I could have attacked more. I could have got a takedown first. There were a couple exchanges that I didn't finish. I didn't get the points, but I think in all three matches I was down. I was losing, and I had to come back to regain, a victory. So.
Yeah.
So that Silva match was interesting because it was 1 points, is push outs, things like that. But things seem to get a little tense. They get a little hand to the face, things like that. I wouldn't say in a negative way tense, but kind of fuel the fire a little bit for you guys when you were wrestling. I saw you picking the pace up a little bit more as the guys went on, right? Because you guys, I mean, I don't know how hot it was there, but you guys were sweating.
Yeah.
You guys are sweating.
Definitely a tough. Thankful that matchup happened for me. I take it as great preparation and learning because, I mean, again, I hadn't competed in wrestling in a while.
Yeah.
Right.
That matchup for me was great, and I had to overcome that, get through that round. And then, as you mentioned before, I after that one, I just was like, wow, I'm going to enjoy this process genuinely. And the people around me in the background was very important to keep me uplifted and inspired to win the Pan American Championships in Acapulco.
Well, man, we were here in the U.S. cheering for you, man. That was sweet to watch. I mean, it was good to see you because even talking to you before you went, it was just kind of the unknown because it had been a second since you wrestled.
Definitely,
and we pushed hard for you, and hopefully all the prayers that we sent over were helping because that's what we were doing. Hoping, come on, Nick, get this, man, get it.
Thank you. And it was great, and to hear the whole experience representing USA wrestling, and
So, do you? Because obviously you have a process and stuff like that. Do you have a pre-tournament, pre-match, like kind of thing that you do every time? Like when you warm up, you're doing this, and this, or is it kind of just going with the flow still?
I definitely could get better at that. If in a way, I think a lot of it's centering and grounding the energy.
Okay.
Especially when there's a lot of competition around you. It's great to be with the people that uplift. Yeah. And see eye to eye with you or on the same task as you. And that for me, that's important. I appreciated that with Team USA and that kind of kept me going to say, hey, I'm going to wrestle my hardest. And if it turns into a tough fight or a close match, I'm going to dig deep, and I have the right support around me through Team USA to get the job done.
Of course. Yeah.
And you did. You got it done well, man. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. You got started this Handsome Tuesday movement. What do you got there?
This is ketone IQ.
Okay.
Nice.
Endogenous ketones, great for the brain.
Yeah.
About gentle, fat burning, energetic state.
My biggest question, and I've heard it a lot from my teammates that see your Handsome Tuesdays, and I see, and where did the Lakers hat originate? Where did you get it? Was it when you first met Frank? Was it, where did the Lakers hat come from?
Oh, do you like it? It's
I love it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Buddy.
I love it.
My buddy, mentor, and friend, Jay Moore, New Jersey.
Jay.
Hey.
Jay.
Yeah.
Jay's clean and sober, baby. That's good to see.
Really funny guy. And but no, it has been another crucial mentor to my success and being a better man.
Okay.
So that's interesting that you found that connection. Where did that Handsome Tuesday? We got a Handsome Tuesday Army fellow here, Jeff S. That's right.
Handsome Tuesday coming up soon, but it's thanks to him for that. It's just inspiration and how I can put myself out there in a positive, uplifting way for people.
Where did you run into Jay Moore? How did that relationship happen?
I can thank my mom for that. I remember after I won the nationals for Rutgers in 2019, I was doing a clinic at a jiu-jitsu school with a high school teammate of mine.
Yeah.
It was great. And mom said, hey, we're going to be in that area. There's a comedy show. Jay Moore is playing. He mentioned something about you. We heard on the radio. I don't know. Mom said something like that. I said, hey, yeah, sure. It's only like 10 minutes away. It was at the, what's it called? Palisades Mall.
Okay.
In New York. In New York. So we ended up going, and I met Jay backstage, and he was wearing a Shoot Vision Quest shirt.
Oh.
And I said, wow, this is amazing. The show was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. I think we saw eye to eye, and we connected, him being from New Jersey and me the same.
Jeff S. also said it would be sick to have you do a seminar at the jiu-jitsu school he trains at.
Right.
Hey, that'd be great if we could, Jeff. Where is that, Jeff?
It was, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What
You
was
got anything else there, Junior?
Oh, that's great. That's true.
Some people they thought when you first started doing it, they thought it was really strange. So I just want to know what is not the message, but what's the meaning behind it? What is it? Why did you start it? What's the meaning, and is it just what is it?
It's fun.
It's a social media trend to spread a positive message of truth and deliver it to the people, and something to keep me active on social media, because especially at Michigan, I wasn't active on social media.
I have a hard time with that too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I at Rutgers I was on the social media a lot, and at Michigan wasn't. And it's good to be back in Arizona training. It's been a great journey, and I represent what I believe in, and I think is a key part.
We believe in it too. We believe in it too, my friend. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I think that once we met Frank and kind of realized how much, not only just the mental aspect that the diet can do for you, obviously, but also the physical aspect, a lot of people don't think about, and putting the pieces together with that. And Liam isn't as quite as strict with it as you are right now. He's 15, so like his energy drinks and stuff like that. We'll get him into some coffee.
Yeah. Okay. This is so at my clubs that I go to, I train at Askren, and then even during our high school practices, we would play dodgeball. Do you guys do that out there in Arizona, or are you guys just strictly
dodgeball and soccer? I know there's a couple soccer nets with the word Forza on it, which means strength in Italian. But I like to do the backwards walking on the treadmill, and Mark's been great with putting me. Coach Perry has been great with putting me in positions, underhooks and strong positions to work on technically right away. Yeah. And handball.
Is that your thing?
Handball?
More of an underhook guy, or are you kind of just anywhere?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, learning how to wrestle in tie-ups, and then learning how to wrestle outside of tie-ups when you can't get to one. And then what tie-ups you like, and what tie-ups relate to you, and which ones don't. So trying to get better at wrestling here.
Yeah, right, exactly. So when we talk about fat adapted diets and things like that, and just kind of the metamorphosis that you've been going through, do you find that your your outlook as far as where you're at in life, and it looks like you're skyrocketing mentally right now, like you are in a place you've been happy since you've been on the West Coast. It seems like it's elevated a lot of what you think of and how you think. Do you think that it's also kind of changed? I don't want to say lifestyle, but it's really your lifestyle, because it seems like you're entrenched out there now.
Absolutely. Cold therapy. I think the way of life on the West Coast, which took me quite some time to discover, being from New Jersey, and just that was my upbringing, and it was great, but there's good and better, and there's more, and there's truth, and there's love, and there's great things out there. And so it's a blessing to be able to train with Cal Poly at the time in the build up to Acapulco Pan American Championships, to be with Team USA. In between that, I was training at the Olympic Training Center a little bit, and had the right guidance and mentorship, Frank J and some, and my family. But it's been a blessing to be on the West Coast, discovering how to be a better wrestler, how to implement these life enhancing nutrition protocols and things along those lines, so that I can accomplish my goals. And now I'm starting to realize that my goals are not only my purpose. There's a purpose way beyond me. And the fact that I can be better than my best is what keeps me going every day, more and more and more.
Have you found what you're doing now to have affected the relationships you have outside of the wrestling room? Not in a bad way, but just like enhancing them, maybe. Do you find that it's enhanced, maybe with your parents, or it's an uncle?
Can you expand on that part?
So, enhancing the relationships, like do you find instead of like something that would have set you off before and angered you, do you find more of a calm and peace with something when you're confronted with it now?
Yeah, I think I can realize what's truly aligned and what's true. What are the things that I've had to let go of to get to that and to be what God wants me to be, and instead of trying to be everything I want to be, which is really shallow. So I've learned to flow and what flow means and what that aligns with and who that aligns with, and that's what brought me to where I am today, and to be able to be back in Tempe where, I got COVID-19 at the last Olympic trials. I couldn't compete. I was training with Sun-Kissed Kids in Arizona for quite some time, for several months more. I was here for a year, I think, at the time before. Actually, no, it might have been like 10 months. But so being back here at this time, there's a lot of importance and truth.
So do you think the definition of flow for you is different for the next guy, or do you think it's pretty self-explanatory? Because you are obviously the guy that goes with the flow. You wherever the wind takes you for the best, that's where you're gonna go. But do you think that's different for other people, or do you think it's pretty similar for everyone?
That's a great question. I don't know that answer specifically, but I do know that everyone is on their process as a human vessel, and what that means is beyond me as well. I'm still trying to discover those reasons and lessons and understandings. But I think being in a flow state, especially in a wrestling match, is certainly a challenge. But once that flow has taken its place, it's unstoppable. It's the way.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that with what he asked. Is that process that you're going through something that the guys around you are starting to pick up on, and you notice maybe them taking, not everything, but taking a piece of what you're doing and being, wow, that looks like it really worked. Do you notice guys around you kind of gravitating towards something that you have a little bit of?
Do you mean here in Arizona?
Yeah. Or even out at Cal Poly when you were working with those guys out there.
Definitely. Absolutely. So, and it was cool to see it be recognized with Team USA. Men's wrestling is a key part of this game. So seeing that overseas in Acapulco for the Pan Ams was key because, again, hadn't competed. All right, where am I? Have a tough first match. Okay, where am I? Okay, here I am. I'm in the flow. I'm winning. So nice. It and flow has guided me here.
Yeah, it definitely has. So we're gonna kind of end. We'll talk a little bit here because we want to ask you about, obviously NCAAs are coming up, right?
Yes, they are.
Are you watching anyone? Is there anyone that you're rooting for? Is there a guy you're like, man, that's my guy. I'm hoping he does well. Is there anyone you're rooting for?
Definitely rooting for Chance Lamer.
Okay,
all right.
Cal Poly for sure.
Yeah,
Ment as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Great guys. I know Arizona's got a bunch of them. So I just focus on what's ahead for me. Focus on my training day in and day out. Listen to my coach. Listen to my coaches, my mentorship, and be honest and see where people are, what they're doing. See that, and then see where I am and what we're doing and how we are.
Of course. Obviously, there's a true freshman, Braden Davis, right now, 125 pounds at Penn State. Have you seen some of the?
Sorry to cut you off.
No, what's that?
Those Rutgers guys are doing well too, but Braden's good. Yeah.
He's. Have you seen some of the, I guess you could say, memes that have been going on about the Penn State 125-pound curse since you've left? And like they're kind of saying Braden Davis could break that. Like, have you seen any of those?
I don't. I've heard of something. I don't know if I must have heard of something like that. But yeah, it was great seeing some of the Penn State coaches like Jake Varner backstage.
Yeah.
In Acapulco. Some of the guys there, Kyle Dick, Kyle Snyder.
Nice.
Olympic champions, things along those lines. Super respectful. And honest, and what it takes to be an Olympic gold medalist, just being able to see that again out was really inspiring. But no, I haven't seen those memes lately. As much as I'm posting these days, I try to, not social media too much.
Yeah. So then, do you read a lot, or is it just you're just working out all the time?
I definitely have some ADD that I'm getting over, which is why the fat adaptation, the ketone IQ, specific hydrogen water, cutting out the sugars and things, unnecessary carbs keeps me honest, keeps me in sync and in tune and grounded.
Champion by design, baby.
Absolutely. .com.
That's right.
Yes.
Dom right there.
Henry Cejudo was a prime example of.
Oh yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah. Here in Arizona too. So
yeah.
Good. Well, Nick, you spent a lot of time with us. You got training and you got recouping and resting. Shout outs. Who you want to be shouting out right now? Anybody in particular?
My friends and coaches and mentors here in Arizona, Mark Perry, and just getting ready to win the Olympic trials. That's the focus.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That's the goal. That's the objective, and and shout out to Team USA, men's and women's wrestling. It's really important and should be noticed. And I think it's going to be just a really, I can't even put words of the experience that's to come at Penn State. So good luck to the Penn State wrestlers.
Yep.
And that's all I can say.
That's all you got, man. That's all you got. Well, I appreciate it. And by the way, Jeff S. said he's out in White Plains, New York for that jiu-jitsu camp if you ever want to do one.
Say that one more time.
Jeff S. He put it up right here. He's out in White Plains, New York, he says. So maybe you get done with all this and you head out to White Plains and maybe run a clinic, right?
Is that far away from the Palisades Mall?
How far from the Palisades Mall? Let Nick know. Tell him on Twitter, baby. Tell him on Twitter, baby.
Let's
all
go,
right, man.
Go, baby.
All right. Nick, we're still going to talk to you just like we always do at the end here, but we're going to close this out. And everybody, I hope you appreciate the episode. Go check him out. You're getting some inside info, man, on the dude. We're real proud of you, Nick. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you so much.
Peace. All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment. Very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.